Let's talk about something in private. Let's talk about the one part of the human body that is a complete black box. It's a source of intense pleasure and a source of intense unspoken fear. I'm talking about the prostate. For decades, this little gland has been surrounded by myths, by rumors, by shame, and by a whole lot of really bad information. We've all had that late night private browser search session, typing in questions we'd never ask our doctor. Can my sex life cause? Is this thing I like dangerous? Today, we are dragging all of that out of the shadows and into the light. We are going to cut through all of the bullshit and talk about sex, and we're going to talk about pleasure. But we're also going to talk about the medical realities, the panic, the cancer scares, and the one critical test that your sex life could be totally screwing up, and your doctor might not even think to warn you about it. This is the conversation we should have been having for the last 30 years. This is the insider's guide to the most misunderstood, most mythologized, and most important gland in your body. So get comfortable, settle in. This is the information that could save you. First, let's get grounded. Before we get to the truths, let's do a quick bio. The prostate is a small gland. Everyone says walnut-sized, and that's about right. Its only biological job is to produce the fluid that mixes with sperm to create semen. Yes, it's a reproductive part, but its location is what makes it the star of our show. It's tucked deep inside, just below your bladder, and it's wrapped around the urethra. And most importantly, it is pressed right up against the front wall of the rectum. It's why it's a factor in our health, and it's why it's a massive factor in our sex lives. It's why a doctor checks it with a finger. And it's why, for many of us, it's the P-spot. Now that we know the players, let's get to the truths. Truth number one, the cancer myth that needs to die. Right now, let's just rip this Band-Aid off hard and fast. We've all heard it. The myth, anal sex causes prostate cancer. I am here to tell you, with the full credible medical science, that this is 100% false. It is a total myth. It is medical bullshit. Let's be crystal clear. Your sex life is not giving you cancer. This rumor came from two places. The first was a simple logical sounding error. Activity near a gland must be harmful to the gland. It sounds like it could be true, but it's not. The second, and much darker reason, is stigma. For decades, anything associated with gay sex was automatically framed as dirty, damaging, or unnatural. This myth is a relic of that shame. It's a medical ghost story designed to scare us. The real risk factors for prostate cancer are things you have absolutely zero control over. Number one, age. It is by far the biggest risk. It's incredibly rare in men under 40. Number two, family history. If your father or brother had it, your risk goes up. Number three, genetics, certain inherited genes. Number four, ethnicity. Men of African descent have a higher risk. Notice what is not on that list. Your sex life, not how you have sex, not who you have sex with, not how often. So let's all collectively take a deep cleansing breath and let that specific fear go. It's a lie. You are not harming yourself by having the sex you enjoy. Truth number two, the sex secret that can ruin your cancer test. Okay, so if sex doesn't cause cancer, why the warning? Why this whole episode? Your sex life can't give you cancer, but it can lead to thousands of false cancer scares every single year. This is the most important, actionable secret of our entire conversation. When you go for a checkup, especially as you get older, your doctor will suggest a prostate screening. It's called the PSA test. PSA stands for prostate-specific antigen. It's a little protein that your prostate makes. A tiny bit of it is always floating around in your blood. The PSA is not a cancer detector. It's an inflammation alarm. When your prostate is inflamed, irritated, or in some cases has a cancerous tumor, it dumps more of this PSA protein into your blood. A normal PSA level is generally under 4. A high PSA is what makes your doctor get serious. A high PSA is the red flag that doesn't mean you have cancer, but it means they have to check for cancer. And that's what triggers the referral to a specialist and the biopsy. What else can cause your prostate to get inflamed and dump a bunch of PSA into your blood, setting off that alarm. A simple urinary tract infection can do it. A no cancerous enlargement can do it. Even a long, hard bicycle ride can irritate it. And what's one very common, very fun, and reliable way to temporarily inflame the prostate? You guessed it, sex. Specifically, receptive anal sex or any direct prostate stimulation. Now, let's paint the picture. This is the nightmare scenario that happens all the time. You're the receptive partner. You have a great, intense time. Your prostate is agitated in a totally normal, healthy, pleasurable way. Next day, you go for your annual physical. You get your blood drawn. A few days later, the phone rings. It's your doctor. Hi, your lab results came back and your PSA levels are elevated. They're quite high. We need to get you in to see a urologist right away. We're going to need to schedule a biopsy to rule out cancer. Your blood runs cold. For the next few weeks, you are living in a private hell. You are convinced you have it. Then you go in for the biopsy. And let's be clear, a biopsy is not a walk in the park. It involves an ultrasound probe and a spring-loaded needle that takes many little samples of tissue directly from your prostate. It's invasive, it's painful, and it carries its own risk of infection. And after all of that, the results come back. Good news, it's benign, you're totally fine, just inflammation. You were never in danger. This is so avoidable. Here is the key. You must give your prostate a cool down period before you get a PSA test. The medical advice is to avoid any prostate stimulation for at least 48 to 72 hours before your blood is drawn. That means no receptive sex. And frankly, just to be safe, most urologists say you should probably avoid all ejaculation for 48 hours, as that can cause a small bump too. You have to be the one to manage this. You have to be your own advocate. When your doctor orders that test, you just say, okay, I need to schedule this blood draw. I'm a gay man, so I need to make sure I book it for a day when I haven't had receptive sex for at least 3 days. Is Thursday good? Be direct. Don't be shy. This is your health. Don't let your pleasure turn into a panic attack. Truth number 3, the P-spot separating pleasure from fantasy medicine. Let's talk about the P-spot, the male G-spot, the button. Because of its location pressed right against that thin rectal wall, the prostate is a massive erogenous zone for many, many men. When stimulated, it can feel incredible. It can lead to deeper, fuller, whole-body orgasms that are completely different. That is an amazing part of many guys' sex lives. Let's own it. It's awesome. But this is where the wellness blogs, the porn forums, and the crystal-gazing health gurus get it dangerously wrong. They start selling you this idea of prostate health massage. They use words like cleanse or detox. They tell you you need to milk the gland to clear out toxins or remove old fluid. They even have the nerve to claim it prevents cancer. Let's separate fact from fantasy right now. From a pleasure standpoint, it's a 10 out of 10 for many. Amazing. From a medical health standpoint, the evidence is not there. There is zero evidence that massaging your prostate prevents cancer or clears out toxins. Your body does that all on its own. In fact, the prostate is an incredibly delicate gland. Being too aggressive, using the wrong toys, having bad hygiene, or just doing it too often can cause the very problems people think it cures. You can give yourself prostatitis, that painful inflammation we're about to talk about. You can cause irritation, tissue damage, or introduce an infection. So here's the real talk takeaway. Think of your prostate like a fine-tuned, sensitive instrument built for pleasure, not a rugged piece of machinery you need to scrub. Enjoy it, explore it, have a blast. But be clean, be gentle, listen to your body. Enjoy it for what it is, pleasure. Do not ever mistake it for medicine. Truth number 4. So now that we've covered the pleasure and the panic, let's talk about the just plain annoying stuff. Because as we get older, our bodies change. And I want to arm you with this knowledge so that when you feel a new symptom, your mind doesn't spiral into that C-word dark place. Almost all men will have some kind of prostate issue in their lives. And 99% of the time, it is not cancer. It's one of 2 non-cancerous things. First, there's BPH. It stands for benign prostatic hyperplasia. It's a scary name for a super simple concept. Your prostate is getting bigger. It's not cancer. It's just growing. It's a normal part of aging, but remember where it is? It's wrapped around your P tube. So as it grows, it squeezes that tube. The symptoms of BPH are all about urination. They call it flow. You have hesitancy. You're standing at the urinal, you're relaxed, but it just takes a second to get started. You have a weak stream. It's just not as powerful as it used to be. You have dribbling. You think you're done, you zip up, and oops. You have double voiding. You pee, you walk away, and 10 minutes later, you feel like you have to go again. And the absolute classic nocturia. You have to wake up 2, 3, 4 times a night to pee. This is annoying, but it is not dangerous. It's incredibly common, and there are great simple medications like alpha blockers that just relax the gland and open the tube. Second, there's prostatitis. This is just a fancy word for inflammation or infection. It can happen at any age. It can be caused by a bacterial infection, sometimes from an STI, sometimes not, or it can just be irritated for reasons doctors don't fully understand. The symptoms here are different. It's not about flow, it's about pain. It might burn when you pee. You feel a deep, dual, hard to pinpoint H. It's not your balls, it's not your bladder, it's just in there, deep in your pelvis or perineum. It might hurt to ejaculate. Sometimes if it's a bad infection, you'll feel flu-like symptoms. This is also not cancer. You go to a doctor, they figure out why it's inflamed, and they treat it. Often, it's just a simple course of antibiotics. The point is, when you feel a new symptom down there, don't let your mind go to the darkest place. It's just your body's check engine light, not its self-destruct button. Don't panic. Just make an appointment. Truth number 5, how to talk to your doctor without feeling weird. This brings us to the final and most important truth. You must have a doctor you can be real with. You need to be able to sit on that crinkly paper in that stupid gown and have an honest, unashamed conversation. When it comes to the PSA test, you don't need to give them the sexy play-by-play details of your Saturday night. You just need to be direct and advocate for your own care. You just need to look them in the eye and say, I'm a sexually active gay man. I'm receptively active. How should I prepare for my PSA test to make sure we get an accurate result? That's it. A good, competent, LGBTQ-friendly doctor won't even blink. They'll say, great question. That's smart. Let's make sure you don't have sex for at least 72 hours before the blood draw. So let's schedule it for a Thursday morning. They'll treat it like any other medical variable, like don't eat before a cholesterol test. And if your doctor does get weird, if they blush, if they get judgy, if they stammer, or if they ask why you're having that kind of sex, congratulations. You've just learned that it is time to fire your doctor and find a new one who is a professional, one who deserves you. Look up the GLMA, the Gay and Lesbian Medical Association. They have an online provider directory. You can find doctors in your area who are not just tolerant, but competent in our health. So let's bring it all home. Let's recap the insider's guide. 1, your sex life is not giving you prostate cancer. That myth is dead. Let's bury it and dance on its grave. 2, your sex life can destroy your cancer test. That PSA number is sensitive. Give your body a 4, 8 to 7 2-hour cool down from all prostate agitation before your blood test. Save yourself the panic. 3, pleasure is pleasure. Medicine is medicine. Enjoy the P-spot. Love it. But don't think you're curing anything. Be smart, be clean, and be gentle. 4, most P problems aren't cancer. It's almost always just BPH, a simple enlargement, or prostatitis and inflammation. Don't panic, just call your doctor. And 5, be your own advocate. You are the CEO of your body. Find a doctor who you can treat as an honest, competent consultant. Knowledge is sexy. Confidence is sexy. Taking control of your own body, owning your pleasure, and refusing to live in fear. That is sexy. I hope this helped. I hope you feel less afraid and a whole lot more empowered. What other health myths are you worried about? What other taboo topics do we need to drag into the light? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, be informed, be unashamed, and be well.